Here we go. Klazart, thank you very much for doing this interview. I'm Sebastian Sjöberg for PolygonReVue.com. Hello. Let me start off by saying that you are, I would suggest, somewhat of a living legend within the foreign StarCraft scene, being known as the Godfather of commentaries, with more than 2 years in the game and well over 1 million views on your YouTube channel. And also there's an air of mystery around the concept of Klazart, as you disclose very little information about yourself and make a point out of keeping yourself independent from the SE2DG community and the other well-known commentators that are a part of that site. Would you mind telling us about your view on your StarCraft celebrity status and why you sometimes run with the pack but choose to not be a part of it?
Yeah, hi. First of all, thanks for having me, Sebastian. Yeah, I don't know about celebrity status. I think there's some people in the community who enjoy my commentaries, and then there are people who don't, and everyone's got their own taste and preference. I've always kind of, I mean, this is StarCraft commentaries have always been a hobby for me, and I've always kind of done my own thing with them, and I guess I've always been a little bit of a rebel at heart, so I don't like being beholden to anybody. That being said, I do have a lot of respect for the other commentators, and I try and work with them as regularly as possible. I mean, Cholera, Diggity, Rise, Moletrap, we all collaborate on a lot of commentaries, and we all try and coordinate our commentaries so we don't always end up doing the same ones, although sometimes we do. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, SE2GG, it's a great site, but I don't think they actually own any of the commentators. I'm pretty sure that even Cholera, Diggity, Moletrap, all these guys are kind of have their own thing as well.
Certainly.
So yeah. I mean, I guess yeah. I do kind of consider myself part of the general StarCraft community, but yeah, I don't like the idea of being officially affiliated with someone unless I am officially affiliated with someone. Because if I have no say in what's happening in a place, then I don't want kind of that place to represent me, or vice versa. If you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Most certainly. Being a rebel at heart, you have often been named, by others at least, as one of the first, if not the very first, StarCraft fan to take up the mic and start recording commentaries on Korean VODs, thanks to Batesy and John747, and then that inspired others to do the same. Many of us who fell in love with StarCraft when it first came out sort of moved on, or perhaps forgot about it, or were passive, but you decided to take action and literally shout it out to the world. What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, well, actually, I was watching pro gaming. I had an interest in pro gaming ever since I started playing Counter-Strike, which I played kind of when I was 16, 17, 18, and I was playing it at, well, actually not 16, 17, 18, more kind of 18, 19, 20, and I was playing it quite a lot, and I was part of a clan and everything, and we competed in local competitions and things like that. I used to watch pro Counter-Strike replays and videos and VODs online from like the World Cyber Games and things like that. But I always found it kind of, even though I was a Counter-Strike player, I found it really hard to follow and really hard to enjoy. I don't think it's something that's ever been conducive to watching. Then I think Warcraft 3 came out, and I started playing Warcraft 3. Sorry, if this is a little bit long-winded. You can always edit it out later on if you want.
No worries.
But yeah, then Warcraft 3 came out. I was playing Warcraft 3, and I started following the Warcraft 3 pro scene. And I used to watch players like Moon and Grubby, and I used to watch them in the Warcraft 3 League, representing their various clans back when when Grubby was associated with 4K and Moon was with MYM.
Yeah.
So I used to watch that, and while watching that, I accidentally stumbled upon Pro StarCraft, the Pro StarCraft Korean scene, because obviously there's kind of a relation. And the place where I was watching the Warcraft videos, Warcraft VODs, they were also showing some StarCraft VODs, and it kind of brought me back to StarCraft. And then I started playing it again, and pretty soon StarCraft was the only game I was watching as far as pro esports goes. I wasn't watching anything else because I just found it so much more enjoyable to watch than Warcraft. Even I felt Warcraft was too slow paced and not as exciting as StarCraft, not as much happening. So yeah, so I became kind of obsessed with the StarCraft scene for a while. I stumbled onto Team Liquid. I was, excuse me, I became a part of that community, and they had a competition. See, Tasteless was the original, obviously the original shoutcaster. He started doing it, and so they had a competition, but he hadn't obviously. There was a dearth of commentating in the pro scene, so they had someone on the forum started a competition to say, "Oh, let's just all go and make some commentaries for fun, and see how it works out." So I recorded a couple of commentaries for it, and I actually enjoyed it so much that I think in a week I had done like 50 videos or something like that. I just got addicted to it and just kept doing it more and more. And I received a lot of advice and encouragement from people who came onto YouTube and watched the videos. And it was always nice for people to say, "Oh yeah, we're enjoying what you're doing." And whenever people say that, it kind of encourages you to do it more. So yeah, that's kind of where it started, I guess.
Indeed, it did. Did that coincide with the time of Savior's Prime, if I know my history correctly, back in the day?
Yeah, close to it, close to it. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think it was kind of when I started commentating was right after Savior had beaten Iris in that epic BO5 semifinals. So, and that had been played, I think, a month or so before I started commentating. So yeah, it was kind of in Savior's dominant era. But at the same time, I got to watch. I think the season after or the season after that, I got to watch Savior lose to Bisu 3-0 in the MSL finals after he'd won the OSL when I was expecting to take everything. So that was huge.
Yes, it was. That was before I myself got back to it, but I watched it afterwards, and well, only wish I'd been there at the time. But that was a truly epic moment, and for a Zerg player, a somewhat sad one. But that is StarCraft. But as you're saying, it is clear that to anyone who loves StarCraft and enjoys it through your commentaries that you do what you do out of a raw passion of the game, especially when Xavier happens to be playing. But with StarCraft 2 waiting around the corner and a growing interest for esports that has begun to grow also outside of the hardcore geek camp, do you see yourself using your popularity or your status among the community to perhaps take a more active and potentially even professional role within esports to whatever degree, or is it all about the love for the game?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to go to tournaments and do commentaries on. I mean, currently the plan is definitely. I mean, it's hard to predict what will happen with StarCraft 2. Whether or not there will be a translation or not, I'm hoping there will be. Whether or not StarCraft will still continue alongside StarCraft 2, or whether it will just be one day that switches off, the lights go down, and then the lights turn on again, and it's StarCraft 2 when StarCraft is gone. So I don't know exactly how that transition is going to happen. I think we're all a little bit in the dark about that, but I definitely want to be involved with when StarCraft 2 comes out, with kind of doing what I'm doing. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Korean pro scene, whether there will be one around. I think moving to Korea has never really been an option for me because I'm married, and my wife can't. I can't expect my wife to move to Korea. So
me neither.
Right. So if the Korean television channels start broadcasting commentaries in English and start hiring English commentators, the chances of me getting in there are slim because I can't move to Korea. So and if all the content is already available in English, there isn't really going to be much demand for someone to come in and record English commentaries over the Korean VODs. But I'm hoping that there will be leagues and tournaments springing up in Europe and North America, where I can hopefully be involved in and do some commentaries that way. So yeah, I mean, I hope to still remain involved. I don't know how things are going to work out. I guess it's a bit fuzzy at this point.
Well, it certainly is very fussy, but